Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Healer and the Dreamer Astrology. Today, we're going to be talking about the Saturn stationing direct coming up, Samhain, also known as Halloween to some, and the 1 to 2k conspiracy. We're excited to go over this beautiful chart with you later, too. Hello, Martin. Where are you? How are you?
This is strange, isn't it? We're doing for 3,000 kilometers away. I'm in Montreal. I've been visiting my family on the East Coast for 5 weeks. It's been quite the adventure. Been spending the two eclipses here on the East Coast.
Yeah, I miss you, but family time, family healing, hey?
Big healing, big time together, and big changes brewing for me in my life. It's powerful times for many of us. How did you feel these two eclipses and this last eclipse?
Powerful times indeed. A lot of changes in my life happening right now as well. The new moon that would have been the Libra new moon was the first eclipse. I'd say more things came up then than they did for this last full moon. I think this last full moon eclipse for me, I'm really grateful, was quite grounding and led to a lot of awareness and gratitude to where I'm at now and what I've moved through. But I also recognize and honor that it's not been easy for a lot of people in my life. So I think there's been a varied experiences out there, like usual.
I think it was a good title, huh? Breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. I think they were ample breakthroughs, but also significant breakdowns. I know in my own process, it wasn't easy, and yet it was really powerful realizations that came from it. And so, yeah. So, why don't we show the folks some chart, this chart that we got for them, and see what we can get from that.
Yeah. So,
Look at this incredible chart. Huh? There's a Star of David.
mm,
I didn't put that on the description. There's
wow.
a Star of David. There's two grand kites. The grand kite of the moon, Venus, Uranus. Whoa. The
Yep.
moon, Venus, Uranus, and Pluto. One grand kite. And then there's another grand kite of Uranus, Moon, Neptune, and the triple conjunction of Mercury, Mars, and the Sun. Then there's two mystical rectangle, one with Venus, Uranus, Neptune, and the Mercury, Mars, Sun conjunction. And then there's the other grand rectangle, mystical rectangle of the moon, Venus, Neptune, and Pluto. And then I like this particular alignment. I call it a house, and you can see the house, huh? Then there's two houses. There's the roof of the house with the moon, and there's the roof of the house with Uranus. So
Oh,
do you see that? That's
House,
a house
housing the
alignment.
rectangle.
I've seen that in a few people's natal chart, a house like that. And those are usually super manifester people who can build a house for others, or for themselves. And so you got both mystical rectangles are engaged with both grand kites forming big houses and then forming this powerful Star of David as well in feminine signs. And so that's one potent chart. And this is the chart of Saturn stationing direct on November 3rd. And so let's flesh that out for a bit.
Yeah.
Um, so we've discussed a bunch about this Saturn in Pisces, and I know you're getting your Saturn return, and now Saturn is going direct again. So you've had your first pass. Where is your Saturn again?
That 5 degrees. So I've had
So
2 passes.
2 passes, and you're getting ready to have your third. And
Mhm.
then I have my sun at 2 degrees Pisces. So now the sun's turning back and it's going to move direct again, and it's going to head towards my sun and then your Saturn. And that's the integration part. The first pass is the becoming aware of something going on. When the retrograde pass comes through, then it's like, oh, that's what's going on. And then so it's becoming more clear what's going on. And then the third pass in a transit of Saturn is the integration path. So now you've put all of these lessons together that were experienced during the first 2 passes, and now you're going, okay, that's the message. Now I get to action and integration, and then Saturn moves on. So this Saturn moving back into retrograde is very meaningful for us, but also collectively. Saturn has been transiting through the first 7 degrees of Pisces. So anybody who has any planets in any of the early degrees of the mutable signs, that means Pisces, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Gemini, they're all experiencing this Saturn transit, as we've expressed. How you feeling it in your own process?
Ooh, I was gonna start with collectively. I see it in how it's really been shaking, well, I guess myself and people as well, like shaking up. I look at the mutable signs as change and mutability, and so Saturn being about structure and form, there's been a lot of changes in the structure and form of society and in my personal life and in my thought processes and how I even engage and work within this world. I notice I'm creating a new relationship with the world in general this last year, which has been quite healing and helpful, actually. I feel like there's pieces of, especially Liz Green's book, Saturn, that really I was excited to read before the process, but now that I'm going through the process, I can see how much more it's like I'm pulling back my own authority. And so there's a change in who my authority is and who I give my authority to and how I structure myself. I've definitely been prone to breakdowns in the past, and I'm sure I'll go through many again. But this last full moon, I didn't have a breakdown. It was my birthday, and I often get sad, and I didn't have like a depression either. But I did feel this like overwhelming arch of needing to consistently contain myself. And so I did a lot of writing, and every moment I found time to ground in nature or be really honest and clear with myself and those around me. And as I'm saying this, I'm picturing back when we were talking about the chart and the 2 houses, like there's a huge need for containment. And you've been saying this all along about Saturn and Pisces and needing containment. And yeah, I feel that like deep need. And I've also lost a lot of dear souls in my life in the last year, and most of them have been due to mental health issues, and I think that hugely comes to containment and needing containment as well. So yeah, I think
One
those
thing
are
I'm
some ways that showed up in my life.
sorry to interrupt.
No.
That's one thing I've been noticing in my trip, is how much people are struggling with mental health issues, and this creating of the safe container that we talked about in the winter and spring there on our video about Saturn entering into Pisces, and creating the safe container. It's a big, big area of concern in people not feeling, mentally and spiritually secure and contained within themselves. It's a big problem. And so Saturn and Pisces continues to encourage us to do that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So let's look at what else is saying in that chart. So we looked at the two grand trines, the two grand kites, the two mystical rectangles, and the two houses. And then we talked about Samhain. So why don't we flesh Samhain out? What is for you Samhain?
Samhain, my relationship to it thus far has been honoring, well, Halloween is this time we dress up, and it's also honoring the Day of the Dead. So November 1st for me is a big day because I often really take that time to honor all of my connections on the other side of the veil, and try to really like do writing and prayers and work that if there's anything they want to communicate to me, to just kind of be an open vessel for that and be listening, really practicing listening. Actually, that would be something that's really come up over the last week, is just this need to really deeply be sensitive and listen to what's around. And I think part of it's the mental health and everything else around. But anywho, yeah, so just honoring the thin veil. What would you say about Samhain?
Well, I was doing some research before the video, and so Samhain means the darker path.
Hmm.
So what happens at Samhain is that the sun in the northern hemisphere enters into the darkest quarter of the year, from the beginning of November to the beginning of February. You have the darkest quarter of the year. So it's the darker path. Of course, we also have Halloween and the Day of the Dead in many cultures. And then it's in the Christian cultures, it was also known as All Saints' Day. So the honoring of the ancestors and the ones that have passed away and the darker path, you know. So this integration of the ancestral gifts and the connection with the ancestors, I think that's what's really, it's not, yes, we celebrate it by getting dressed up, but it's really about celebrating those who have passed on behind, and so that's a part of that holiday that tends to be missed. And so and it was also a holiday where it's the last of harvest festivals, and it was a holiday where people did bonfires to honor the ancestors.
Mm.
So doing a fire. Now, for us this year, technically, Samhain, or the darker path, starts when the sun reaches the 15th degree of Scorpio. And so that doesn't happen until November 7th.
Mm.
So November 7th, Tuesday, November 7th will be a really good time for you to do a little fire to honor your ancestors. And you can throw some things in the fire as offerings to the ancestors. And you can do some journaling and some writing and trying to listen to what the ancestors have to say to you as you move forward on your path.
I think those are some great, great tools to utilize. Yeah.
So then what else do we have on that little slide?
I think we're gonna jump into your what is 1 to 2 conspiracy, Martin?
1k 2k conspiracy. Well, that word conspiracy gets a lot of press. And so I just wanted to talk about conspiracy, and of course you have, if you break down the word, you have, if from an American slang perspective, you got cons and piracy, so convicts, doing piracy, and so, but co conspiracy, co-inspired, it's people inspiring each other. So I came up with the 1k 2k conspiracy because we finally, well, not finally, we just rushed through 1,000 subscribers. We're almost at 1,100 already. So my 1k 2k conspiracy is a way to get from 1,000 subscriber to 2,000 subscribers really fast. So then I thought of offering a discount, not a discount, but an offering to those of you who are listening and like our channel. if you get a friend to subscribe, I'll give you and your friend both a transit reading for 50% off. That is $50 for an hour transit reading for you and your friend if you get someone to join the channel. And so in that sense, if everybody on the channel gets a friend to join, then we'll go to 2,000, and then I'll have to do a 2,000 reading. So we're going to be busy for Christmas. This offer is good for December and January. And Diana will participate too and offer some beautiful advice on medicines and the transits that you will face this year. So I'm interested to see how many people take us up on this, and we'll only put this on YouTube. We won't promote it anywhere else. So this is kind of a test to see how many of you are paying attention to the channel and who are really wanting to continue to support the channel, and will offer you a beautiful transit reading for your year coming ahead.
It's a beautiful offering. I love it. I do transit readings now for myself on my birthday, and I find them really, really helpful to understand what the theme of that year is going to look like for me and what's to come. And now that I'm learning pieces of more of the astro herbalism content, learning what aspects of my body are going to be seeking more support. So I think it's a really fun way to differentiate the years and work on chunks of your life without necessarily taking on the whole kabang in one time.
And there's some big transits brewing. There's the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction. Knowing where that falls in your chart is going to be really important. We're going to see a lot of the triad of transformation and where that falls into your chart. We got Pluto coming into Aquarius. That's going to be really important. Then we got Saturn continuing its transit towards Neptune, which we'll see the following year, the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, which will be really important. And then, of course, Chiron transiting through through Aries. So yes, reach out to us. Our contacts are in the comment section, and we'll be happy to support you in that way. And then you have you had an alchemical opportunities slide here.
So there's some special dates coming up. If you're seeing this, then this date's already passed, but October 29th, Mercury-Mars made a conjunction, and that conjunction was also conjunct the Sun, which is opposite the Moon, Jupiter, and Uranus. So kind of seeing this part here, but the Moon was back here at that time. Right now, it's just going into Gemini, so you had a 6-planet and luminary activation there.
Well, I pulled the chart for that for yesterday, that October 29th, and it just jumped on me that Mercury, Mars, and the Sun were all in conjunction, and that's going to be really the next few weeks. Mercury Mars conjunction is going to be felt by everyone in Scorpio, ruled by Mars. So we're still digging into the darkness, with Scorpio, and the next new moon is a Scorpio new moon, and with Mars also in conjunction with the new moon. So that Mars in Scorpio, and then it was in opposition to the Jupiter moon and Uranus conjunction, and it's been a really beautiful show to watch the moon in conjunction with Jupiter in the sky during the full moon. Hasn't that been beautiful?
It's been gorgeous. Quite gorgeous. Part of my sounds here, I have a little bit of an activated printer going on. Hopefully you can't hear it, guys.
Okay, and then so November 3rd and 4th, that's Saturn station direct at 1/2 degree of Pisces. And then we talked about that a lot, and that's going to be really important.
Yeah,
Then
that
the
need to further
Mercury,
contain.
was that?
Just saying, yes, the need to like further contain ourselves. That'll be this coming next weekend.
Right. And then we looked at that chart, and that's really, really quite important. And then the Mercury Mars conjunction, Sun opposite Moon, Jupiter, and Uranus, it's all charged. And then on November 7th, it's Samhain, the darker hall, All Saints' Day, the Day of the Dead, and the last harvest festival, and bonfires we talked about. And on the 13th, we have the Scorpio new moon in conjunction with Mars. So those are the hot spots, alchemical opportunities coming up. So you want to pay attention to those. That was fun, huh?
Yeah, it was really
Uh,
fun. And this whole distance thing's working enough. Tell us what you think, guys. Tell us how we can improve it.
Yeah. Tell us what you think of this presentation, and we are probably going to be doing more of them from the road. We'll do the next new moon video from the road like this. Was really nice to see you, my dear friend.
Likewise, miss you, Matan. Really nice to get
Yes,
to
miss
chat
you as
with
well. I'll be home in a couple of weeks, and then we can do some live videos again. And if you're watching this, thank you so much. We made it. We're at 1,096 subscribers. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe. And if you want to get a friend to join, we'll give you both a transit reading for the next year at 50% off. Um, that was fun. Day, thank you so much for joining me, and miss you lots.
you. Miss you lots and love to each of you guys out there going through your own transformations. What a wild time. You're doing great. Deep breaths. Yeah. Bye for now. Meow.